Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more turkey patterning, and today we've got another combo that I expect some absolutely devastating patterns from. We just recently started testing this brand of shells, and I already knew before I ever even started testing these myself that they were some good performers, but yeah, from what we've already seen from them, they are some devastating shells. And I expect no different with today's combo either. We know we've got a good load, and we know this gun and choke combo can give us nasty patterns, so this might be one of the best patterns we've gotten in quite some time, if everything works out the way I think it might. But for the shells I brought out here today, I got out some more of the Epic turkey loads. These ones are a 20 gauge, 3-inch, 1 5/8 ounce payload of TSS 9s at about 1200 feet per second. Like I just mentioned, we've started testing these Epic loads here recently, and they are some epic performers for sure, no question about it. I expect no different from these, but this will be the first time we've tested the 20 gauge version as well. And they have something interesting going on as well. I figured I'd show this and talk to you guys about it because I had never really run across an idea like this, but it absolutely makes sense. You can see this shell has a cork little, essentially overshot card piece on top of the pellets here inside of the crimp. This is something that I have been asked about on these shells, and I did talk with the guys over there at Epic and essentially had them explain why and what this is. And it's a pretty interesting design that I think actually can make a legit difference. So I'll show you a typical shell here, and this is oversimplified for what they have explained, but when you fire a shell, the crimp typically looks something like this, kind of jagged, some edges, it's not perfectly round and even and stuff like that. And apparently having a not perfectly circular open crimp can lead to flyers and strings and stuff like that around the edges of the pattern. Well, apparently in testing this cork little overshot card piece, it prevents that from happening, and when we fire this shell, it will essentially smooth straight out and you won't have any of those jagged edges or weird crimp left on it, and it will help eliminate those flyers. Interesting idea that absolutely makes sense and can, in theory, make a big difference. So we'll see if we actually notice any big change or not compared to what we usually see. But for our setup today, I brought out my Stevens 301 20 gauge. It's got a vector red dot on top with a 26-inch barrel, and we're going to be running the Indian Creek 562. Apparently, the guys at Epic use Indian Creek chokes to do a lot of their load development and testing, so if there's something that's going to perform well with their shells, it's probably one of these chokes. This is a nasty choke in of itself already, so I think that trend should continue today as well. But for today's test, we're running everything the same as usual. I've got the turkey target at 40 yards and the chrono to get our velocity. So let's get you guys to view that target and see what kind of devastation we can actually put down there on the paper. I have a feeling it's going to be nasty, and I hope this shell and choke combo stays to where my red dot is zeroed and we get a nice centered hit on the target, because I think we're in for some pretty nasty and impressive results. So let's take our shot and see what we get. Okay, so that shell gave us 1232 through the chrono. Boss claim is 1200, so from the 26-inch barrel, we're just a tad over. That's perfectly fine for a typical TSS 9 from a 20 gauge, but did we actually get more devastating results down there at 40? Let's go check it out and see. Alright, so here we are down at our 40-yard paper, and we see some pretty nice looking results here for this pattern. We did favor a hair to the right and a touch low. This is not the choke and shell combo that red dot is zeroed with. I was just hoping that we had it pretty close to centered up, but this is why we use the target backer and stuff so we can see our entire pattern, and it's a pretty good one at that. We absolutely have a dead bird at 40 yards, no question about it. There are a ton of pellets down the spine there that would have done the job, and obviously if we had that core centered up around that bird's head a little bit better, it would be completely devastating. Our core is kind of right above the bottom right corner of that turkey target there, and it is a beautifully even area of pellets, no doubt about it. You can see a 10-inch circle right there printed on the target, that bigger circle you see. If we had that pattern centered up down there, I don't think there would be a single void within that 10-inch circle, and probably no voids within a 12 or 13-inch circle as well. It is just a beautifully even core of pellets. We may have seen hotter cores from a couple other very specific loadings, but I really like that for a good hunting pattern right there. And it's still tight. It's still a hot core, no question about it, but I like how even it is across it. Outside of that, we still don't really pick up any little strings or voids until we get to the very outskirt edges. There might be a couple flyers over there. There might be a couple little bits down at the bottom there, and we strung a couple little pellets up here around the top. So did their cork little overshot wad card piece this make a big difference? I think it did help based on what we generally see from the average TSS load, but this is one test. It's hard to really quantify anything yet with this one test. So we'll see if the trend continues that we keep those flyer numbers down a little bit. This is just a very nice hunting pattern for a 20 gauge. I'll use that any day of the week. I think we can probably still get it a little bit tighter than this as well. Maybe a 560 choke, maybe a 555, maybe going up to something like a 565 pattern master might do it a little bit as well. This is still a phenomenal pattern, don't get me wrong, but I think we can refine it just that little bit more still. Do we need it any tighter than that? No. This is already a decently tight pattern as it is. You don't have a ton of leeway to work with, especially if you're shooting your birds in at 20 yards. So we don't need a tighter pattern, but these shells I think are legitimately capable of keeping almost the entire load of shot on the turkey target itself. If we center that up, I think we could have a legitimate chance at doing that. So very nice starting point for the 20 gauge shells for sure. That is a very nice pattern. I really like how even the majority of it is through the center there. We might be able to clean up the edges just a little bit more, but we're kind of nitpicking a little bit at that point. It's still a fantastic pattern. I would run it any day of the week. That's 40 yard capable. You've got enough pellets there through the core to get it done at 45 and probably 50 yards as well. That's probably a good enough pattern to do the job, however far out towards 60 that you feel comfortable pushing a TSS 9 shot. So not a ton to complain about. That's a very nice 20 gauge TSS pattern, and I definitely think if this is our starting point and if we can refine it any more than that, this is going to be an absolutely devastating load, even more so than it already is, because that's already a very nice pattern. So a nice start, and it's got me excited to test more of these and try and refine them a little bit as well, because I think we got some serious potential with them for sure. And here's the wad from that shell. Very standard, nothing fancy, nothing special, nothing stuck in there, no major damage, nothing like that. Just your typical Indian Creek kind of striping down the sides. Nothing special to see here as far as the wad goes. But for those curious, here is the shell after the fact, and here's a good up-close comparison to the difference that cork piece makes. It clearly makes a difference in how clean and even the crimp opens up for sure. I know that the shell on the left here was a star crimp instead of a roll crimp like this shell was, but even on roll crimp shells, they are usually a little jagged. You'll have one side open a little farther than the other side of the crimp and stuff like that. So it does make a difference, and it is a beautifully clean opening on that shell for sure. All right, y'all. Well, what did you think about that result right there? It's a fantastic pattern, no doubt about it. I would not hesitate to run that. That pattern can definitely speak for itself. And even if it's nice, if we wanted to nitpick it a little bit, maybe we can clean the edges up just a tad bit more, even though we don't need to have a tighter pattern from it. That's still more than capable of doing the job. But based on the track record these Epic shells have, I think we can probably still dial it in just that little extra bit. We don't need to, but if anything, these shells are going to be fun to really test them and see just how capable of a loading they actually have made here. How ridiculously tight and even of a spread can we get? That's already a really even pattern throughout the core, so we're not blowing anything open just yet. Maybe a little more constriction, maybe a little less constriction, and we'll see what happens. I've got a couple chokes in mind for sure, but you can let me know all your thoughts down below. Is that about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of these Epic shells? And if so, what kind of results have you seen? Is that a pattern or combo you would hunt with? Is it too tight for you? Would you prefer to see it even tighter than that? Or is that exactly what you're looking for? And what other choke combos do you want to see us run those 20 gauge Epic loads through that you think might dial them in just that tiny little bit more? Let me know all that down below. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All that information will be in the description if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.